Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to ANF Plus Sports tonight. Got me, Scott Pennyman, with my guy, our resident, I'm going to call him an MLB expert, Brett Gilbert, right? But really, he's the guy who just kind of gets the show together every night. He's really like one of the most important people a part of this show just because he puts everything together, gets everything together for us technically every single night, gets this show together, and now you can see what he looks like, Mr. Gilbert.
That's a great intro, Scott. Thank you. MLB expert. I'll take that, I guess. Producer takeover tonight, you and me. Two producers, no talent.
Absolutely. What, hey, you trying to say we have no talent?
We'll see, I guess, over the next 20, 30 minutes or so.
Two producers and no talent? Man, that's kind of crazy. That's harsh. It's all good, though. You can show we have some talent, right? Hey, look. Pretty much an all MLB show, right? I mean, just when you look at yesterday was opening day, more games today.
Yeah, we wanted to talk about it yesterday, but had some other stuff in the world happening that took over the desk over here. So today we finally get into it, which I'm happy about because that means I get to hop on and talk about it, and I love talking baseball.
Absolutely. Let's dive right into it. First of all, with the Braves yesterday, they trounced on the Nationals in the opener, 7-2, right? 7-2 for 7-2 for the final, and I guess if you want to look at it, one bad thing that came from the game yesterday. I mean, the bats were hot. Let's make no mistake about it. The bats were in midseason form, but I guess a little bit of bad news early in the game, right? Max Fried.
Yeah, he got 4 innings in, looked good. He allowed 1 run only, and I say allow. It was the defense falling apart behind him, and it ended up getting home. Pitched really well, looked really good. All his stuff was moving. He had his velocity. Had a chopper to first in the 4th inning, was running to cover the bag, and nothing really looked weird.
No.
But apparently the hammy, which he's had issues with before, cramped up on him. He walked back to the mound, threw a few warm-up pitches, said, nah, I can't do it. Good news is Braves have said there's no – well, they said there's nothing long-term. They still haven't placed him on the IL.
Right.
We're expecting that. Hopefully it's just a 10-day IL stint, which will probably just mean he misses 1 or 2 starts. But probably nothing too long-term, which is good because the Braves need the race.
Yeah, and that's what Snip was saying after the game. He was saying that, it's a pretty good chance that he's going to miss some time due to the injury. But, look, the way I see it is that you never want these kind of injuries to happen, especially not to your ace pitcher. Yeah. But if they're going to happen, I would think you'd rather them happen earlier rather than later, right? And it doesn't get much earlier than the season opener.
Yeah, I mean, really, yeah. I mean, the games all mean the same, but you have, the next 4 or 5 months to recover. If there's going to be any other issues that pop up from this, let's go ahead and get those out of the way so that Max is ready to go come October.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it doesn't appear to be a serious injury. It doesn't look like it's one of those things that's going to be serious. Knock on wood. So I think he'll be fine. Even if he has to miss a few starts, guys like Spencer Strider, they've got the horses to be able to carry them through April. And again, it's only April.
Yeah.
And then next month is only May. So this is still the first part of the season. So I think they'll be fine. I mean, let's hope he doesn't have something serious and, something once they dig into an MRI and recover it. Let's hope it's not serious, but it doesn't appear to be serious. So I think he'll be fine. And once again, if something like that is going to happen in the first game. Just don't look, better happen now than happen in September. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah. And they're not even, I mean, it's going to be a tough division this year with the Phillies, defending NL pennant, and the Mets, of course, are, their roster is still just as good as it was last year, if not better. But their ace, Verlander, also went down.
Yeah, man, it was a tough day yesterday.
Before they even threw a pitch. So,
That's crazy.
That's just April, I guess.
What is this, the NBA takeover for Major League Baseball? I mean, in the NBA, everybody goes down with injuries and stuff. Is that infiltrating Major League Baseball? I mean, come on, man.
I hope not.
Right. Hey, well, I tell you what, let's get to some good news from the game yesterday. Travis d'Arnaud, man. I mean, what was he on, man? 4 for 5? He was killing.
He was on that. You guys signed my replacement, so I'm going to show you why I was still an all-star catcher last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on fire. Let's see. I printed off his stat line, and I printed it off in the smallest font possible. So it
was crazy.
It's difficult for me to read here. But, yeah, he went 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs, only 1 strikeout. I mean, yeah, he was all over the place.
Yeah, and that's what is. They went out and Sean Murphy, right? I mean, they went out there and signed him from Oakland?
Yeah, from Oakland.
Yeah, from Oakland, yeah.
They traded for him, and he did not have the best debut.
He's 0 for 5.
Yeah, 0 for 5 with a strikeout. But, I mean, you're in a new city. It's a big adjustment already. it's whatever. It's one game. You can't overreact too early in baseball.
Yeah, and like I said, we put all this emphasis on opening day, right? Because, I mean, everyone does all the glitz and glamour around opening day. Everyone's really paying attention. It's kind of funny. I think the most watched games in the MLB season is opening day, and probably the least watched games in the MLB season is probably the second day, right? Because everyone goes back to kind of not caring because it's like 160 games left, so it's not really a big deal. So, yeah, I mean, I think the fact that he goes 0 for 5, they made a big deal bringing him here and everything like that. Got a good contract, too, I think 6 years, $73 million. So, yeah, of course, there's going to be people who are going to look at it and be like, oh, man, we just brought you here, now you go 0 for 5 in the first game. Really, it's no big deal, right?
No, it's not. It's not. And, hey, even if he takes a while to get going. He's slumping real bad in the beginning, and they need to bench him for a game or two to let him get his mojo back. You got Travis d'Arnaud right there behind him. I mean, the Braves probably have the best catching and backup catching situation in the league.
For sure.
So I don't think there's anything to worry about. Sean Murphy's been really good for a really long time. It's one game.
Yeah, and just when you kind of look at the lineup from top to bottom, right? I mean, that's the least part about this Braves team that I would ever be worried about. I mean, the one thing you have is guys that can hit up and down that lineup. I mean, you got guys like d'Arnaud, you got Riley, you got Harris. You got guys, they're going to score runs, folks. They're going to score a lot of runs, all right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even worry about the new catcher going 0 for 5. It's not really a big deal, especially in the opener. You know how that goes. Tomorrow, he'll probably go 3 for 4, 3 for 5, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
That's baseball. But I think, d'Arnaud is going to be one of those guys. I mean, like you said, he took it personal that they may have went out there and got his replacement. So this might be a theme the whole season for him, right?
Hopefully. I mean, that'd be good news for the Braves if you have a bit of a catcher controversy. I don't know if that's ever been a thing. But maybe this will be the first. And, hey, having the DH in the NL really opens that up, too, because they can just keep doing what they did yesterday and have d'Arnaud or Murphy catch and then the other one DH when, one of them needs a day off. And if they're both hot, it's a great situation to be in.
Nobody likes the dreaded catcher controversy, right?
No.
How many catcher controversies do you hear of in the course of an MLB season? I never heard of one.
The Cardinals had one in 2002, 2003 when Yachty first came up, and they were getting rid of Mike Matheny. That's the only other one I can think of.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed like most teams' backup catcher sucks. You know what I'm saying? So it's really not really a controversy or anything. But whatever. I mean, if you have two good catchers, you have two solid guys that you could put in there if you're the Braves. That's a luxury. Everyone would love to have that problem. It means you have pretty good depth. I think they'll be okay, right?
Yeah, I do too.
More opening day reaction. I mean, right? I mean, there was a lot going on yesterday, right?
Yeah. I was able to watch a few games. I watched all 9 innings of the Braves Nationals. Then I watched a bit of the Red Sox Orioles. That one was real tight. And then I'm a Cardinals fan, so I watched the Cardinals Blue Jays. That one was also real tight, real back and forth game. And then I actually watched 4 because I capped the night off watching the A's somehow beat the Angels, who are still miserable despite having Shohei Ohtani.
That's
and
crazy.
Mike Trout.
That's crazy, isn't it? I mean, just think of just how talented Ohtani is. I mean, the guy Ohtani is probably one of the most overall talented baseball players, really, when it gets down to it, maybe ever by the time he's done, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for what he can do on the mound and how he swings the bat. I mean, one of the most uniquely gifted baseball players that we've ever seen in our lifetime, and they can't get this man to the postseason, right?
Nope, they cannot. They cannot.
And they have Mike Trout.
And Mike Trout. Let's not forget the guy in center who is also one of the greatest players to ever pick up a bat.
How do you have two of the best players of their generation probably just at the plate, just overall period? Two of the most talented players of their generation in Ohtani and Mike Trout, and you can't get them to the postseason? What?
It seems impossible. It really does. I mean, it seems more difficult to not get to the postseason with those two on your roster than to get to the postseason with those two on your roster. But, I mean, that's baseball, Those guys, it's not like the NBA or the NFL where your best player's always on the field, Yeah. They're only on the field 2 out of every 9 batter spots. Trout's been injured a lot. Shohei can only take the mound one every 5 days. And the other guys got to do it, and they can't. There's no one else on that team that can pick up the slack, or there hasn't been. We'll see what happens this year.
I mean, the only team I could think of just in recent memory, like I'm probably, I'm dating myself just by going back, but I'm thinking about those Seattle Mariner teams in the late 1990s. They had Ken Griffey Jr., they had Randy Johnson, like that. They had Alex Rodriguez, and those were 3, iconic names of their era, and they never could even get to a World Series. Yeah. So I mean,
but at least they had playoff runs and great regular seasons. I mean, the Angels can't even do that.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, for lack of a better word, it's pathetic.
Right. They can't even make the postseason. Just like you said, I mean, those Griffey teams with Randy Johnson and A-Rod, they got to the playoffs. We saw them in the postseason. We saw, but to not even be able to make the playoffs especially in this era when more teams make the playoffs, right? When you have two of the most gifted players of your generation and not be able to do that, it's kind of crazy. And I was also looking yesterday too. Well, I'm gonna get to this a little bit later because it's gonna be part of. I guess this is what kind of foreshadowing here.
Okay.
Aaron Judge hit a home run in his first at bat, right?
Yeah, first home run of the season.
Right.
It may have been one of the first 2 or 3 pitches of the season. Well, no, because he wasn't batting leadoff. He was batting second. But yeah, probably one of the first 20 pitches of the season across all games. And Judge takes it deep, of course.
And clocked over 60 of them last year.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of that's gonna kind of lead me into my bold predictions, right?
Okay. Well, you want to go ahead and get there now?
All right. So since we already turned the corner of the car, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the gas pedal here, right? So as we get into bold predictions for the MLB season, for me, it's going to be twofold.
Okay.
It's going to be twofold, all right? So I'm going to predict Aaron Judge is going to break the MLB single-season home run record this year, right?
Overall.
Just overall.
Because last year he broke the AL.
Right.
You think he's going to do it
I think he's going to do it overall.
Again?
I think he's going to do it again, but it's going to be overall, right?
What's the single-season record?
It's Barry, right? In Barry?
Yeah, it's Barry.
Was it 73, was it? 73? I have to get that one.
It's low 70s. I didn't know if you got the exact
I want to say it's 73, Barry Bonds. So
okay.
whatever it is.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I think Aaron Judge is going to do it. I think he's finally arrived to that level of player. Now, he had some injuries for a lot of his career, and that kind of kept him off the field. But when Aaron Judge is on the field, he's a true baller. And I think we're starting to see more and more what he can do. They gave him $100 zillion last year, this past offseason. You know, baseball just has all kind of money, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Especially when you're playing in New York.
Exactly. That baseball money is just different. But anyway, they gave Aaron Judge $100 billion last year. So I think now we're going to see the true Aaron Judge and what he's all about. So I predict him to break the MLB single-season home run record this coming season. And as for the Braves, I'm going to predict they get over 110 wins.
110 in that division?
110 wins.
Doesn't matter. Mets, Phillies, doesn't matter.
I think I think the Braves are coming back with the vengeance. But now it does kind of affect it a little bit with Max Fried going down.
You're predicting some all-time great stuff this season then.
Yeah, I mean, look. I think 2023 is going to be a special year for Major League Baseball. Okay, so I think those are just two of the nuggets that are going to happen this season. I got Aaron Judge breaking the all-time home run record, and I got the Braves winning 110 games this year. I think they have the weapons to do it.
Okay, well, I have two for you as well. Then
All right.
One of them you may not even consider bold. I'll keep them both Brave-centric. I think Ronald Acuna. In his comeback year, last year was kind of his comeback year coming off the ACL injury, but he never looked like the Ronald Acuna. He was clearly still not 100%. This year he is. I mean, yesterday he was stealing bases. He tripped once, but he got right back up. ACL ain't bothering him anymore. So I think Ronald Acuna is finally going to get that elusive 40 for 40 season, 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases. It's going to be easier this year because the bases are bigger.
Okay.
There's the pitch clock.
Right.
You have limited pickoff attempts. He's for sure getting 40 stolen bases. Already got one yesterday.
That's true.
And I think the power is going to be there to get the homers as well.
Yeah, man, those new bases look like pizza boxes, don't they, man? That's kind of crazy out there, isn't it? That's cool.
I can't tell a difference. I don't know. Some people are making fun of the size. I don't think anyone can actually tell a difference. I think if you are complaining about the size of the bases or claim to be able to look at them and tell a difference, you're just lying.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not going to make a real difference, right? I mean, let's be real.
It'll make a difference to the stolen base numbers and hopefully injuries, because that's why they actually did it, was to prevent first baseman's legs and runner's legs from colliding.
Right.
But as far as huge impacts on the game, like completely changing baseball, no, it's not.
Right.
It's not that game changing. My second prediction, I've written down a lot of notes here because I'm going to walk you through this.
Oh man.
A Braves starting pitcher is going to win the Cy Young, not named Max Fried. Spencer Strider. The guy, the stash, is going to win the 2023 NL Cy Young. And let me tell you why. Last year, after the All-Star break, Spencer Strider, where's it at? I wrote a lot of notes here. Spencer Strider's ERA post-All-Star game, 2.2. For those of you not that familiar with stats, that is very, very, very good. He allowed...
Locked down.
Yeah, yes, very locked down. Allowed a 180 batting average to all hitters he faced, 88 strikeouts in 57 innings pitched. That's well more than a strikeout an inning. That's closer to, I believe that's over a strikeout and a half an inning. That's getting up there close to 2 strikeouts an inning. And if you're not even getting on base, then it's going to be pretty dang hard to score runs.
That's crazy.
Yeah, to compare that a little bit, Sandy Alcantara, the Marlins pitcher who did win the Cy Young last year, his full season numbers, 2.28 ERA, so higher than Spencer Strider's after the All-Star break. And Strider had a better strikeout percentage by a lot. Now, I get it. You know, they're different types of pitchers, and I'm taking a bigger sample size from Alcantara than I am from Strider. But Strider had it down the stretch, and I expect to see that same guy this year, especially considering there were off-season rumors that he was working on a third pitch, because right now he just has that four-seam fastball,
right,
a slider, and a changeup that he throws like 4-5% of the time. If he can get that changeup up to even 15%.
You're going to be nasty.
Yeah, and now you're at the plate having to worry about, okay, he's going to pump 102 at me, then a slider that's going to jerk outside. Oh, and now he's also got a changeup, and he'll just take, 10 to 12 miles an hour off the ball coming right down the middle. That's a lot to worry about. Strider's got the stuff to do it. It's crazy to think that there's a starter that is that dominant, and he's really only working with 2 pitches. If he gets a third, look out. It's over.
What was that? You said he held guys to a 189 batting average the second half of the season?
180.
180. I was going to say, man, that was my sophomore year batting average.
I was going to say, you about 180. You're cut. You're playing over in Gwinnett.
Right. That's a you know what? I think, is it a bold prediction based off what he did last year? I wouldn't say it was that kind of prediction, but yeah, it is bold just because, it's hard to win a Cy Young Award, right? So
very hard.
Yeah,
very
so
hard.
I would look at that as kind of a bold prediction, but I think he can do it. I think that's a bold yet reasonable prediction that Spencer Strider is going to compete for the Cy Young Award. Now, hopefully no sophomore jinx, right? He come off the year last year.
No, he's got it. Go ahead. Drive up to Chattanooga right now. Place your bets. I don't know what the odds on it are, but you'll win a little bit of money.
Yeah, hey, look, I root for a team. We've had a couple Cy Young Award winners with the Cleveland Guardians.
I thought you were trying to remember the name.
No. But I kind of was, right? I didn't want to say Indians, but the Guardians.
Yeah.
Having Corey Kluber and
Bieber. Did Bieber win one?
Shane Bieber also got one too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Spencer Strider has the tools, has the ability, has the pitches, has the nastiness to bring home a Cy Young Award. So let's round this out now. Let's go to our final topic.
All right.
Which is what's on your mind. Let me ask you first, since you're the guest, this is your first show. What's on your mind, Brett?
To be honest, more baseball. But we've talked a lot about baseball, so I guess I'll throw the Final Four out there because it is tomorrow. And it's probably the craziest Final Four we've ever seen.
It really is.
No 1 seeds, no 2 seeds, no 3 seeds. There's 4 seed. Who's 4 seed?
So right now we have Florida Atlantic was you got UConn, right? UConn.
No, UConn. Seed, right? I was going to say because San Diego State's a 5 seed.
Yeah, so UConn is. Yeah.
Yes, UConn is the 4 seed. So that's going to make for a crazy, crazy, crazy weekend because no matter how you slice it, somebody that wasn't supposed to be here, 2 teams that weren't supposed to be here are going to be playing for a national title, and that is awesome. I've heard some people upset that the Blue Bloods or like the real true, elite teams coming into the tournament aren't here to play for it at the end. I don't care.
No.
I don't care. It's going to be good basketball down the stretch. It's been good basketball this entire time. I think all of these teams are capable of giving us great games, and I expect a great finish in one of the most historic March Madness championships of all time.
And me too. I think when you look at teams historically and everything, when you look at the teams who are left, I guess the logical pick is UConn, right? Because that's the team they've been there and done that. Not those guys in particular, but as a program as a whole.
Yeah, they've also been dominant.
Yeah. They've won some national championships, and they've looked like pretty much the most solid team left here. From top to bottom, talent-wise, how they play the game, they play the right way. They're coached very well with Danny Hurley, right, as their coach over there. So they look like a team that it looks like it's their year, right? But who knows, right? It's one and done. And
just takes one loss. You're out.
Miami's kind of come from nowhere, right? Miami's kind of come up, and I don't think anybody I guess you could say that for about 3 to 4 teams here.
But look at FAU.
When you look at Miami, right, FAU, nobody expected FAU to be playing in the Final Four.
No.
But Miami that's a shocker, right? I don't think most people, if you're sitting here with your bracket right now, I don't think you had the University of Miami there and ready for in the Final Four, right?
No, I don't think you had any of these teams. A few people had UConn, I think, but even they were a long shot. I know our weatherman Fred Campagna had, I believe he had UConn winning the whole thing. Definitely had them in his Final Four. He's already won our bracket pool.
Wow.
And no one else has a chance of catching up.
He already got it locked down, man. Where Fred at, man?
He's probably spending
win some money here.
He's probably spending the money because he already got it.
He already got it. Okay,
Yeah.
well, hey. Well, I guess he don't care then, huh? I guess he doesn't care at all who wins this. He's having fun.
He's already good.
He's living it out here for the rest of the weekend.
But that just goes to show you how crazy this Final Four is, that it's not even over and bracket pools are already decided because there's usually one person in your entire pool that had one of these Final Four teams in there, and they're walking away with the money. What's on your mind, Scott?
Well, you know what? I know it's the off season, man, but I'm always looking at NFL. That's kind of what's on my mind, and just looking at how this Lamar Jackson situation just continues to play out. It just keeps getting more and more crazy, right? I mean, it seems like we talk about it like almost every show. That's because every time we step on this set, it seems like there's always a crazy development or something crazy happens and everything. But I just can't believe that we're still sitting here this deep into free agency. Now Lamar requested a trade this week, right? That's kind of like the newest development.
Yeah. Well, didn't they say he actually requested it
a while
earlier
back,
this
like
month,
March 2nd.
but we didn't know until now.
Right. So we got word of that this week, and it just keeps getting more crazy. I mean, it's just – I can't believe that a former MVP quarterback is just going through this. I mean, it seems just mind-boggling. I mean, if you would have told everyone last offseason that a former MVP quarterback would be on the market, would be available, all you would have to do is give up 2 first-round picks and sign him to a contract extension, how many teams would have jumped on that? I mean, probably about 10 teams right now that don't feel good about their quarterback probably would have jumped all over that. At least you would have thought they would jump all over it.
And I think they would if there weren't strings attached, right? Because you're not negotiating with just Lamar. Any offer you throw at him, the Ravens have that non-exclusive tag placed on him. So any offer you throw at him, if the Falcons say, "Hey, Lamar, come to Atlanta, we'll pay you, 4 years, $200 million, whatever it is," he can't just say yes. He has to go back to Baltimore, and Baltimore has a chance to say, "Oh yeah, we'll do that," and then he cannot leave. He has to sign with Baltimore. So I think it's still a crazy situation. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's what's going on more than anything is. All these GMs are looking at this and saying, I'm not going to do Baltimore's job for them. I'm not going to negotiate for them. If I'm Atlanta, I'm looking at my defense. I need to spend time fixing that. I have a whole roster to fix. I don't have time to go waste a few days talking to Lamar just for him to stay in Baltimore.
Well, if I'm the Falcons, man, you're going to have to go ahead and I'm just going to have to go ahead and do the Ravens' work for them because I don't feel that great about my quarterback situation. I mean, again, I've said Desmond Ridder. I think Desmond Ridder has the opportunity to be a really good quarterback. However, if I'm management and a head coach and I know I'm going into my 3rd season, and the first 2 seasons I didn't make the playoffs, and I know I probably have to make the playoffs in my 3rd season in order to keep my position, I would feel a hell of a lot better going into a season with Lamar Jackson, a former league MVP and a perennial Pro Bowl quarterback as my quarterback than I would Desmond Ridder. But that's just me. I'm just saying,
right. Do you think they give the benefit of the doubt, though, if you're Arthur Smith or the GM and you go into this season with Desmond Ridder and it doesn't work out, you at least can kind of blame him and say, well, what do you expect? We got a second-year quarterback who didn't get it done. I mean, if you put Lamar in, it's put up or shut up time.
I mean, that may be true, but I kind of think it's put up or shut up time for them anyway. Just when you look at the NFL and how the NFL normally is, when you look at the landscape around the league, how many head coaches and general managers survive 3 consecutive seasons of missing the playoffs?
Not a lot.
Doesn't happen too often.
No, not a lot.
And so I think going by that history, if I'm one of them, if I'm in that situation, I would rather have a former MVP, a veteran quarterback who I know knows how to win. I think his record is 40-something and 16 over the last few years.
Wow,
I mean,
really?
Lamar Jackson wins football games. So I would rather have him as my quarterback, a proven commodity, than a young quarterback like Desmond Ridder, or even like a young first-round pick. I mean, all these teams are drafting quarterbacks in the first round and everything. They're trying to jockey up. History tells us that more quarterbacks who are drafted high in the draft fail than succeed. So to me, give me something that I know is a solid thing, something that a guy who I know can play the game. I know Lamar Jackson can play quarterback. With all due respect, I don't know what Bryce Young is going to be in the NFL. I mean, we can project, but we don't know. We don't know. Look how many Ohio State quarterbacks have failed in the NFL.
And even if he's good, is he an MVP level quarterback?
Right, exactly. Look how many quarterbacks from Ohio State. I root for Ohio State, right? Look how many quarterbacks from Ohio State have failed in the NFL. So can we say that C.J. Stroud is going to be a sure thing? The kid from Kentucky. What's his name? Can't even think.
Will Levis?
Yeah, Will Levis.
I think we all know that Will Levis isn't a sure thing.
Right. Is anyone looking at Will Levis and thinking he's a sure thing? Anthony
sure
Richardson
not.
from Florida.
No.
I mean, he looks about as raw as they come.
Yeah.
So there's not a young quarterback in the draft that I would. Here comes Fred now.
Where's my money?
Here comes Fred.
We already talked
Here comes
about
Big
it.
Money
No,
Fred.
I heard you.
Big Money Fred. Yeah,
I already got it.
He got the NCAA tournament pie. Yeah. But is there a NFL quarterback? Is there a quarterback right now coming in the draft that you feel that good about? I don't know.
No.
Not me, but whatever. I mean, look. Hey. It's been a lot of fun here, Brett. Nice to have you on the show today, man. You know, I could go on forever. That's why I just had to cut myself off.
We're looking up and it's almost 58. And
It's
that's
all good.
That's our wrap time.
It's
But
all
we get
good.
Scott going on this about once a week.
Yeah, exactly. Once a week, you get me going. But it's cool. Look, hey, Brett, it's been cool having you here tonight on Sports
It's fun
Tonight.
being on.
Hope you join again soon.
Anytime we're talking
Great Friday
baseball.
night. We have some Friday night heat tonight, but we out of here later.
All right. See ya.